What up? What it do, YouTube? Don't mind this towel behind me. It's your boy Ascension Capitals, man. Tapping back in with another video. And welcome, guys, to a whole new video and really a whole new series. So, after my last video explaining how I practically blew my account, now we're taking a different route. So, you can't ponder on it for too long, but nevertheless, I got a trade recap today. I actually started trading on my Forex fund eval 50K account. So yesterday was my first day trading this account, and yesterday I actually ended up taking a loss and a break even on the day yesterday. So first trade idea on the account was a loss. So what do you do? It was according to plan, so nevertheless, I won't do a recap of that trade idea today, but more or less, we'll go over the daily summary of today. And today, I took a break even on fiber and a win on platinum. So without further ado, I'm going to make my way through this recap relatively quickly. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be having to help my dog out of the car because he had surgery, so pretty sure he's going to be down for the count whenever my madre comes back with him. So yeah, guys, so without further ado, man, let's get right into the recap. All right, guys, so when it comes to fiber, keep in mind here, I want to know what is the overall storyline. And looking at structure, I have my M15 swing high. Oh, let's change this color to purple. Where? Okay, there we go. I have my M15 swing high and my M15 swing low. And we are coming from a 4-hour level of interest, and we've already had some manipulation, inside of this 4-hour level of interest. So now I am, price is aligned bearish on the 4-hour time frame and the 15-minute time frame. So now I am definitely in the market for some shorts. But when it comes to this trading range that I am dealing with, I want to see price come back into premium prices before I start to look for short opportunities to take price lower, because again, I am following structure on the 15-minute time frame, and now that we have aligned both on the 4H and 15M, now it's the green light. So with a bearish bias in mind, what day was this? Thursday, we already tapped into this area of interest, and there was some potential short opportunities yesterday that I did not capitalize on, but looking in retrospect, there was a nice opportunity. So price already tagged into this area yesterday, but again, I wasn't able to capitalize on that. So coming into the session today, today I was a bit of an early riser because I had to take my YND to go to the vet so we could get a surgery and whatnot. So I got to the charts around actually earlier than that. It was around 6:30, 6:40-ish today. So let's go into where price is already, let's go to where I showed up to price at the time of the day. So first thing, before I do that, I want to know what is happening because I do have a bearish bias. So I can already see we had a manipulation of Asia highs. So boom, we had a run on buy side here on Asia highs. So now with keeping this in mind, I want to see Asia lows as the low hanging objective for the day. So keeping that in mind, now I'm going to drop down to the lower time frame to see what is kind of happening when I showed up to the charts after this remitigation of this 15-minute point of interest, and the manipulation of Asia high. So first thing I see, I want to map out structure coming into the manipulation of Asia highs. So I want to mark this out as Asia highs. So boom, we got that manipulation of Asia. And the first thing that I see is we were bullish until we manipulated Asia high. And then as price started to make its way back down, I can see we had a shift in sentiment. So price was no longer bullish after the manipulation of Asia high. So let's mark this out as the change of character. As you can see, we did get a body close below this low. So now it's the green light to start to look for short opportunities. Now mentioning, I did get to the charts around 6:30, and I can see that price had a nice pullback entering a premium imbalance. As you can see, price mitigated this imbalance here, or you can take the order block however you want to look at it. But in my case, I was looking at more so this whole kind of zone, and then boom, shortly after we mitigated this premium area of interest, we had a continuation to the downside. So pretty much what we're doing here is we're starting to follow order flow. So when I got to the charts, I can already see that, okay, we're starting to have that bearish sentiment really kick in, and we already are on another pullback phase to potentially take price lower. So looking at this whole area, I wanted to take essentially where the top of the imbalance was within this next leg and this entire zone. So this would be my area of interest that I would like to get involved from. And price was already inside of this area of interest. So once price started to run, show some signs of it starting to deliver on this candle here. This is one. Sorry about the interruption, important phone call. But anyway, like I was saying, once price had gotten to this area, this is when I went ahead and set my limit, and my stops were just above the top of this zone. So initially I was targeting a 1 to 3 with a very optimistic target in mind, just because we were bearish on the 15M and the 4 hour. So I was targeting a 1 to 5 in this scenario. But looking in retrospect, that probably was not the best decision, because I am deviating from my plan, which is a 1 to 3. And you take off something at a 1 to 3 and let the rest run. But with that optimistic play in mind, let's keep going with price. So I got the tag in around 6:34 a.m. and waited for price to show me some signs of it delivering to the downside. So price started to float around in my entry area, and we started to get some delivery. So the moment that price broke this low, showing me that we are continuing that sentiment to the downside, got a piece of hair in my mouth. Anyway, roll my stops to break even after we broken this low, and now essentially I've taken my risk off of the table on this combine, and I was only risking two contracts here, risking about 150 on this trade, and price started to deliver to the downside. So price doing what it's doing, starting to deliver to the downside, and now at this point we have a ran Asia low. So once we run Asia low, I am initially expecting some sort of reaction from this point, because we were taking out this session liquidity down here, which was Asia low. So price started to continue, and also as we start to run Asia low, I kind of had let's kind of manipulate this a little bit, because I remember once price ran Asia low, we were already at a 1 to 3. So boom, this could have been my target and I could have been done for the day. But as I mentioned, I had a bit of a optimistic target, and I was and I was targeting at 1 to 5 on the day. So price initially ran Asia lows, and as I expected, we had some sort of pullback here, and price started to fluctuate around this area, showing lots of signs of manipulation. And ultimately, price hung out in this area for probably around, I want to say around an hour and some change. But nevertheless, playing price forward, we initially came back and we started to really show signs of, after taking out Asia low, that price was not going to deliver. So we kind of topped out here, and price ended up coming all the way back to take me out at break even. So that was that whole trade idea for today. So had a break even on fiber, but zooming out and looking at it on the grand scheme of things, we do have still, I believe, lots of downside potential when it comes to fiber. So I am still anticipating this low being taken either next week sometime, or, you know, later down the line, you know, in the month of September. So nevertheless, guys, that was my whole trade idea on fiber, and took a break even, controlled the risk, controlled the management, will manage to trade well, and yeah, you keep it moving, you keep it grooving. But nevertheless, the entry was quite amazing, I want to say, and I'll turn on my executions if they're still on. Oh no, I think they're reset already, but nevertheless, probably because I'm in replay mode. But yeah, guys, so break even on fiber, and let's get over to the next trade idea of the day, which was fiber. I said fiber, I'm sorry, I meant platinum. All right, you guys, so I don't know how efficiently I ran through the fiber shorts, but here we are on platinum, and gonna run you guys through this long idea that I had for platinum today. So as you can see, I am inside of a bullish range, swing high, swing low, anticipating this draw of liquidity, anticipating for this draw of liquidity to be taken, you know, at some point in time. So as you can see, we've kind of been hanging out inside of this range for quite some time. Nevertheless, we have been breaking structure to the upside, but not in a very expansive manner, like you would see sometimes price come back into the value extreme and then shortly fire up. But in some instances, price likes to hang out in the range and break structure internally, and that is exactly what is going on here. So from a little bit of a backstory of the storyline, what's going on here. So we have come down to the valid extreme of this entire range here. So let me delete these drawings. Okay, so we have come down to the valid extreme of this entire range, with a bit of an imbalance in between this level of interest here. You might not be able to see it, but nevertheless, there is a tiny imbalance resting within this leg. So we've already manipulated past the 15-minute swing low, really started to facilitate or more bearish sentiment after we had that manipulation of the low. So as you can see, we are constantly breaking structure to the upside. So we had this internal break here and this internal break here. So, you know, we were constantly breaking structure to the upside internally, but keep in mind that this here is our external swing point, anticipating for this draw of liquidity to be our target either on the day or at some later date. But nevertheless, we are breaking structure to the upside, and now we still have session liquidity to target, whether that be these old session highs and these old session highs. So we have a bit of a confluence here. We are bullish on the 15-minute time frame. We have our draw of liquidity on the 15-minute time frame, and we have relatively equal highs resting above. So this is really giving a very, very good setup opportunity. So when I got to the charts today looking at platinum, I can already see we're still breaking structure internally, and we've come to this internal level of interest here. So this was that last this was that last impulse after we broken this internal high. So this would be the origin of where that volume came in. And also I want to mark out my previous day's highs and previous day's low. And the previous day high in this scenario was here. So this is my previous day's high. So let's go ahead and actually mark this out so we can know where this is for context of the whole trade idea. So previous day high. Turn that to a gray line. Let's move this over to the right side, top right. So yeah, boom, I know where all my liquidity pools are. So in this scenario, I want to get involved from this area of interest to take price again to the previous day's high, those session highs, and ultimately the 15M swing high, which would be our draw on liquidity. So as you can see, price has manipulated a bit past this internal bullish order block where I want to get confirmations out of, but that is okay. As long as price doesn't close below this area of interest, then this is still a green light for me to still get involved inside of this market for some longs. So what I wanted to see here was either was going to be a shift in sentiment inside of this internal POI, or I wanted to see a run of previous day's low, some sort of internal shift, again, to take price higher. So I had two kind of scenarios that I would want to play in this scenario. I had two ideas that I wanted to play in this scenario. So let's kind of see what's going on the lower time frames. So as you can see, looking on the 2-minute time frame, we are steadily printing lower prices on the 2-minute time frame. We had a break. Again, we had a manipulation here. We did not get a body close below this low, but we did get a manipulation. So seeing that price is manipulating this low, I want to wait for the first shift in sentiment to get involved in longs in the scenario. So let's mark out my internal high and my internal low. That will be from the point at which price manipulated and the origin of that manipulation, which was here. So playing price forward, I want to see will price shift structure in the session. So playing price forward, we get another manipulation lower, and this time still no body close. So which was the origin of that manipulation here, still following that 2-minute structure. So now I want to see the same thing happen. I will continue to follow price forward until I get the shift that I am looking for. So price is doing what it's doing. We did get a body close below this low, so we did get a break in structure here. So now again, still waiting for the high that put in that low now to be shifted before I look for confirmations. So mark this as my point of action line. So price is holding this bearish range, and we start to, boom, break that high. So now this is that first indication and that change in sentiment from bearish to bullish. So now we have that bullish change of character on the 2-minute time frame. So now is the green light for me to start to look for buys in this market. But at the time, this is 9:10, and I was not focused on platinum at the moment because I was looking at fiber, and at the time I was probably still floating break even around that time. So playing price forward here, what I want to see initially is price come back to the origin of that impulse with resting imbalance. So the area that I can see that stands out to me right away would be this last sort of sell. Well, let's not do that. This last sort of sell to buy move where the origin of that impulse came in. So in those scenarios, again, I don't like to take the super refined zones. So I would take a zone something like this to be my entry order block, or where I would set my entry to get in, and of course reevaluate if price continues to climb higher structurally. So now this would be the area that I would want to see price start to come back to. As you can see, we're starting to get a nice pullback and we are forming a new swing high. So now we have our new 2-minute swing range, which is from this swing low as I just annotated, and this would be our new 2-minute swing high. So now I want to see price pull back into that discounted area to get into my entry or my buy limit to take price higher. So let's see if price does that in this scenario, playing price forward a bit. As you can see, price gets very close, waiting, doing what it's doing. The price kind of consolidating around in this range, and it looks like price breaks higher. So boom, we have a significant pullback within this leg, and now price is breaking higher. But the one thing that I see that did happen within this leg is price did come back and fill this gap here. So that's something that I want to, keep in mind. So price may not do something as break this high and then come all the way back down here, because we have that fill. So I'll be back with you guys. Got to go help my dog in. All right, you guys, we're back. So that was a false alarm. I thought my Madre was back with the dog, but it's not here yet. Got a cookie. Anyway, moving on. So again, this area of interest on the 2-minute time frame is no longer valid to me because we had a significant break in structure on the lower time frame here. So this would be another bullish break, and now we have a new 2-minute swing range from new predefined 2-minute swing low and new predefined 2-minute swing high. Now within this leg, I want to look for areas of interest where I want to take my long positions from, because again, I'm interested in targeting those session highs, the 15-minute swing high, but ultimately a 1 to 3 more than anything. So looking at price within this leg, I want to look for where are the imbalances within the leg. And the first thing that sticks out to me would be, boom, this imbalance that I see here. So wherever my bullish or whatever my entry order block will be at, I want to incorporate that imbalance either just before that or inside the whole kind of zone. So the first thing that stuck out to me in this scenario would this entire zone here, this last group of consolidation candles before price impulse to the upside. So now this would be my entry order block here, and this was the area where I set my limit, and I still have it hidden over here. So let's see if we can bring that back up. So boom, this was my entry, and I had that set at 1355.5, and I was targeting a 1 to 3 risk to reward, risking one contract here. So a little bit over 1 to 3, a 1.03, pretty much a 1 to 3. So I was patiently waiting here for price to tag me in. So let's play price forward and see how price reacts in this idea here. So price had a nice run to the upside, and now this is when I start to see price give me a 3-candle pullback within this leg. Now that I know this is going to be the new 2-minute swing high, so now all I have to do is patiently wait and see what price is going to do, if we fill my entry or if I get stopped, or however price reacts around that entry level. So initially price come back very sharp, in a very, very sharp manner. So when I see stuff like this, it's kind of like, why is it coming back so hard? But it could be a sharp correction, or you can just get smashed right out. But nevertheless, price did come into the 50% of my total entry order block, and boom, patiently kind of just waited around this area. So playing price forward, We came in quite aggressive, but nevertheless, I'm still patiently waiting and seeing if we're going to deliver. So this is quite a lot to kind of, on the bar replay, it looks kind of different as it happens so fast. But like sitting through a trade, your emotions are a little different. But nevertheless, I was thinking I might get stopped out just because of how fast we came into this area. But playing price forward, we started to show signs of reversal and we started to push up to the upside. So I'm thinking, okay, boom, we're starting to deliver quite nicely, and we start to retrace into drawdown again. And I seen that we manipulated the initial low that was inside of my area of interest. And once we manipulated that low that was inside my entry order block, we manipulated, and then we started to get some momentum after that. So from this area, I'm still kind of sitting in drawdown, just like, oh, I thought the manipulation was going to do something quite interesting and didn't. So price consolidating around in my entry, and around 11:36 is when we started to get volume. And the moment price broke this internal low with the body, I decided to reduce my stop up into this low that was the manipulation. So pretty much the low that got manipulated, I rolled my stop to reduce my stop up to around that area. So my new stop was a little bit less, risking a little bit less than what I initially would have. But on this initial setup, I was risking one contract, which was about $185. So playing price forward with the reduced stop, we started to really get some momentum. And after we got this strong run up here, I went ahead and rolled my stop to break even. And now I am risk free on this position. And again, we have these session highs up here, which is my liquidity pool at the time, where I wanted more of a optimistic target. But nevertheless, we're still kind of playing price forward and seeing if price will get to that optimistic point, which is those session highs after, I'm break even and everything's risk free. So playing price forward here, we really start to run, and price is showing signs of it delivering. And we had a bit of a pullback here, a 2-candle pullback, and we left behind an area of interest. And I wanted to see if this area was going to hold. So I drew out this area, hoping this area would be just one of those short-term pullbacks before price really started to expand to the upside. So boom, playing price forward, we still have that bullish sentiment. We're starting to have a pullback, and it looks like price started to reject off of that area of interest. And ultimately, playing price forward, we initially smashed my target, but I did not close my position after we smashed the 1 to 3. I decided to actually roll my stop all the way up to my target level, because we blasted through my target with quite a lot of volume. So even if price would have pulled back, I still would have been taken out at a 1 to 3. But I decided to just kind of trail my stop to see if we can get to this liquidity pool. And playing price forward, price did blast through that area with a lot of interest and ultimately smashing this liquidity pool. And this is when I was taking out of my position. And it was a nice trade idea, targeting about a 1 point, I think it was, what is it altogether? It was a 1.43, 1.43, what am I talking about? It was a 4.43 risk to reward ratio. So nevertheless, a good trade idea on the day. I only took 2 positions today, and I'm trying to stick to that sort of thing every single time now, just because, like, bro, discipline is literally everything in trading, bro, because you can have it all and then you can lose it all within a day. And that's the freaking crazy thing about trading. But yeah, guys, ended up booking a nice 4.43. What yeah, 4.43 risk to reward ratio. I can't even talk. Booking a nice 4.43 risk to reward ratio trade on this Friday. So yeah, guys, yesterday, like I mentioned, I did trade yesterday, took a loss and a break even. And I am trying to record my sessions and post those to YouTube as well, but I was using OBS and the last video I recorded yesterday, and it came out to be super choppy. But yeah, guys, so road to 50K, completely transparent here. Like I mentioned, Thursday, I did take 2 trades yesterday, a loss and a break even. So I ended the day on $167 loss. So yeah, we're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna keep it a grooving, man. And you know, like I said, discipline is literally everything. So wake up, you know what you got to do to be great and to be able to change your life. You know what you got to do. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this recap. I'm gonna start posting more. Did take a hiatus, but you get down, you got to get back up. The only option is to keep going. So yeah, guys, road to 50K funded. I know that I got to trade this account very meticulously because this is, you know, the prop industry, and like, it's not a personal account, but there's pros and cons to everything. But I'll say the main pro to trading props or eval accounts and stuff like that is like, you have to follow rules. So they kind of force you to keep yourself on a straight path. So I feel like that can definitely help me. So yeah, guys, that's all they got for this video. Maybe y'all keep rising, and I'll see you guys in the next, hopefully, trade recap or live session. So stay tuned. Maybe y'all keep rising. Peace for now.
I need to not pick up my phone. I'll go straight to airplane mode. Find something to do. I know I can be a little bit cold, but my third eye is going.